The film story begins and we see a girl whose name is Harper. Harper was looking very upset at this time because she is a victim of a very deep trauma. Actually, some time ago her husband died. The reason for his death was because Harper wanted to take divorce from her husband, on which Harper's husband said that it would be better if you do not take divorce, because if you take divorce then I will die. Now here we come to know that they did not get along at all, and this was the reason that Harper wanted to end this relationship forever, because her husband was a very angry person. Because of this Harper was fed up and she had decided that she would not live with such an angry and cruel person. Then one day we see that they fight a lot, because of which Harper's husband beat her a lot. Because of this Harper got so angry that she pushed her husband and threw him out of the house. At the same time her husband go towards the roof, and die there. Here Harper considers herself responsible for her husband's death, and because of this she is not able to get out of all these things. Although she wants to forget everything and move on, but she was not able to do so. So to forget all this she rented a house which was in a village. But this village is built on the countryside, and this village is very beautiful. As soon as Harper enters the house, she sees a very big apple tree in the garden of that house. She immediately plucked an apple from there and started eating it. After that she went inside the house and met Jeffrey, who is actually the owner of this house. Here there are some normal things between them, but apart from normal things, Jeffrey was also talking very strange things here, but Harper was not able to understand those things. Anyway, after a while Jeffrey leaves from there. After a while Harper video calls her best friend. She tells him about her new house and also shows him this house. After that when Harper turns off the phone, she keeps thinking about her husband for a long time. Then immediately she comes out of her house to walk. Now while walking she comes to the jungle, but she was not afraid here. In fact, she was feeling very good here. Then after a while it starts raining here, due to which the weather becomes beautiful and the surrounding scenery too. And Harper is enjoying all this a lot. While walking like this, Harper reaches near an old tunnel, but when she goes inside that tunnel, she starts getting strange peace there. Then as soon as she makes a sound here, then her voice starts echoing there. That is, her voice used to come back by colliding with the walls of the tunnel, and because of this echo used to arise, and then later this voice gradually becomes soft. After coming here, Harper was feeling very good. She was very happy here. But then she looks at the other side of the tunnel, where a man is sitting, which was looking very strange. And now as soon as she sees, that man gets up and starts running towards Harper. Now seeing this, Harper gets very scared. Because of this, she immediately comes out of the tunnel. After coming out, she starts running towards the jungle. But going ahead, she forgets the way. She does not even remember where she came from and where she has to go now. Now while running, she reaches near another tunnel. But this tunnel was not open, but it was closed. Because of this, Harper walks on another road. Where she goes ahead, she sees a lot of old houses where no one used to live and it was closed. Now because the weather here was very beautiful, that's why Harper immediately takes out her mobile and starts making pictures and videos of the surroundings. But then suddenly she sees the same strange man, who was not wearing clothes and he was standing in a strange condition. Now seeing him, Harper gets very scared, and immediately starts running away from there. Then somehow she finds the right way, and she reaches her house. After reaching home, she calls her friend again, and whatever happened with her in the jungle, she also tells her friend. Then suddenly her eyes fall on the same strange man again, who was following Harper and came to her house. Then seeing this, Harper turns off the phone, and immediately goes to close the door. But the door was not closed properly. It was still a little open. Now here Harper is very nervous. But still she goes ahead with courage, and she closes the door. But that strange man who was standing outside the house, he puts his hand through a hole in the door, and starts trying to open that door. Now seeing this, Harper calls the police. Then after a while, the police comes there, and arrests that man. Yes, the police takes that man with them, and he is locked in jail. After this, we are shown the scene of the next morning, where Harper goes to a church, and she sees a stone there, on which a strange picture was made, but strange sounds are also coming from it. Now sitting here in this church, Harper cries a lot. Then after some time, She comes out of the church, and starts going home. But then suddenly she sees a stranger, who was wearing a mask. Here that stranger starts talking to Harper in a very strange way. He says to her that let's play a game with Hayden. But Harper clearly refuses to do so, that I will not play any game with you. Then after a while, a father of the church comes there. As soon as he comes there, he sends that stranger from there. Yes. Later Harper and that father start talking to each other. Here Harper tells all the things about her and her husband to the father. When the father hears her, he says that it is your fault. Today your husband is not in this world because of you, because you forced him to do this. Now after hearing this, Harper is quite surprised. At the same time, she gets very angry at the father. That's why she goes from there. At night, Harper goes to a bar to drink, where she meets Jeffrey again. That is, the owner of the house. Then the two of them start talking here. But then the police officer comes here, who had arrested that strange man from Harper's house that day. Here the police officer tells Harper that we have released that man. That is, we have released him from jail, because there was no case against him. We did not have any evidence. Now after hearing this, Harper gets so angry that she comes out of there very angry at that police officer. But when she is going on the road, she feels as if someone is following her. And this was also true, because a strange man was following her. Now because of this, Harper is so nervous. But to reach home quickly, she starts running from there. Now as soon as she reaches home, she calls her friend again, and she also tells her about all this. Hearing this, Harper's friend tells her to be ready. I am coming to take you. Now Harper starts telling her friend the address of her house. Then suddenly the phone turns off. Then Harper calls her friend again, and again tries to tell her the address. But this time also the phone turns off. After this, Harper sent the address of her house to her friend through text message, where the reply of this message came very strange. The reply was that I already know where you are. That is, I already know where you are. But now before Harper could understand anything, then from the window, her eyes fall on the police officer standing outside. Then immediately Harper comes out of the house to the police officer and asks him, "What are you doing here?" But then suddenly the lights start flickering, and as soon as the police officer disappears from there, and then a lot of apples start falling from the apple tree. Now because of all this situation, Harper is very scared. But then suddenly a man starts running towards her. Then she closes the door. But after some time, she sees that someone has broken the window of the house. And now the same man started running from the other side of the house. Now seeing this, Harper also picks up the knife to face him. But then suddenly someone started knocking on the main door of the house. Then because of this, Harper started shouting and saying that whoever you are, if you come inside, I will kill you. But then suddenly the door opens and Jeffrey comes inside. So because of this, Harper did not attack him and he stopped. Now here Jeffrey says to Harper that I heard your scream. Because of this, I immediately ran and came here. Now tell me what happened to you. Are you okay? Then Harper tells her that actually someone was trying to break the window and enter the house. Then after hearing this, Jeffrey goes and checks the window, which was really broken. But there was also a black bird lying nearby. Now seeing this, Jeffrey comes out of the house and starts checking that there is no one here. But then suddenly the lights start flickering again, and this time, Jeffrey disappears as soon as he sees. And now the same strange man comes in front of Harper, who is lying behind him from the start. Now that man blew a few leaves of the flower and turned Harper in the air. And now suddenly Harper's condition started getting very strange. Looking at him, it seemed as if someone had taken control of him. After this, Harper goes inside the house and closes the door. But that man again tries to open the door by putting his hand inside through the hole in the door. Then seeing this, Harper puts that knife in his arm, which Harper had kept with him. Now for this reason, that man tries a lot to take his hand out. But his hand did not come out and was cut into two parts. And now here Harper feels that maybe now my life is left with that man. After this, Harper immediately goes to the kitchen where she finds that stranger in front of her, who was telling her to play with Aiden. Here this stranger again tells Harper to come and play a game with Aiden. Now the thing to notice here is that this stranger's hand was also cut exactly like that of that strange man. Coming to the door, Harper tells the stranger that it would be better for you to go away from here, otherwise, I will kill you. Then the stranger says that no Harper, "You can't do that." Saying this, he came to Harper. But now because Harper does not have any other option, so for this reason she gets ready to play hide and seek with a stranger. Harper closes the door and starts counting to 10. When she says 10 and turns around, then the same father of the church comes in front of her, whom Harper has met before. And now the father starts moving towards Harper. Now for this reason, Harper gets very scared and goes to the other room. Now the father's hand was also cut exactly like that of that strange man and stranger. Here the father starts misbehaving with Harper, but Harper hit him on the chest with a knife and dropped him down. Then Harper comes out and sits in the car, and she starts going from there quickly. She is moving forward while driving a fast car, but then suddenly someone comes in front of her car and she collides with her car. And this man was none other than the owner of the house, Jeffrey. Jeffrey comes close to the car, pulls Harper out of the car and starts pulling her. Then he throws Harper there and starts the car and starts going from there. Now here Harper gets up and starts walking ahead. But then Harper sees that Jeffrey is coming towards her while driving a fast car. For this reason, Harper also got scared and started running from there. Then she reaches home by saving her life with great difficulty. But Jeffrey could not control the car, because of which the car collides with the wall. We see Harper lying in the garden in a wounded condition. But then a strange man comes in front of her. And the shocking thing here is that he was going to have a baby. And this time a strange kind of plant had grown on his face, like a fungus. But then the same stranger comes out of the man's stomach. Now because this thing was very strange, Harper wakes up seeing this. And the more surprising thing is that the stranger was also going to have a baby. So now the same father of the church comes out of the stranger's stomach. Seeing this, Harper gets very scared and immediately comes inside the house. But now the father also starts moving towards Harper. Now here the father was also going to have a baby. And Jeffrey comes out of the father's stomach. Now here Harper was not able to understand anything that what is happening here. She was just surprised. She had lost her mind. Now here Jeffrey also had to give birth to a baby. And Harper's husband comes out of her stomach. And now this thing was going to blow her mind. She was going to be very surprised. Harper's husband comes to her and sits with her. Here Harper asks her that what do you want from me? To which her husband says that I just want your love. Now this scene gets cut here. And in the next scene we see Harper sitting somewhere, where suddenly her friend comes in front of her, the one she used to talk to often. And surprisingly she was also going to have a baby. Now here you will be confused that what was going on in the movie till now. So now we are told the plot of this movie here. Actually in this movie we have tried to explain a dark reality, and that is that all the males, that is all the men, are the same. Of course the situation changes, time changes, but all the men are the same, that is angry, shouting and torturing women. And in the movie the meaning of having children again and again was that, if a man gives birth to a child then the children are also the same. Like in the movie all the men who were born were also angry and cruel. Someone was scaring Harper and someone was misbehaving with him. That is this way Harper felt the fear of all of them. And then when Jeffrey gave birth to Harper's husband, and when Harper asked him that what do you want, then we understood everything from the answer of her husband. Because Harper's husband was also a very angry and cruel man, he used to consider Harper as his property. But whatever I do with him, that's why he told Harper that I only want you and your love. And now the surprising thing here is that all the male characters in the movie are played by the same man, and that is Harper's husband, that is Jeffrey, father. That strange man and that stranger were all the same. Harper's husband just tried to scare Harper in different groups, and all these different men were visible to Harper, because she possessed him, and later the fear of Harper was brought in front of her, and Harper was possessed when she ate an apple, and as soon as she was possessed, she began to see her fear in front of her. This movie ends with a thrilling suspense.